Okay, trying it again after phone calls, interrupt everything, and now I'm doing this whole like bumpy thing. It's not even, can't even blame it on the boat because it's actually not rocky at the moment, but it might start in a second, so who knows. So I think I was somewhere talking about eventually how cageology happened, the whole motherhood thing of being basically really overwhelmed and not trusting my old self to actually be a responsible mother, and in doing so deciding just to squish her. So, and also then trying to tie into with the video, the cageology and how this came. So the old videos I decided to leave up because it was me starting with creative freedom. That's what it was, with the baby. And, you know, my little one was, I think 5 months old then, 6 months old. No, almost a year. I'm telling myself that, you know, I started writing before, you know, I had a couple of the books out, then I became a mom, dropped writing altogether. But that I'd actually been able to come forward and say, wow, I feel a bit brave here. You know, that I'm trying to put books out, even though I'll never claim the writer title, I'm at least doing it, which in and of itself is amazing. Even though I didn't give myself that credit, I should tell you that. Like, heaven forbid I give myself credit, especially as a new mom. You know, I was all about fashioning that whip and beating myself with it all the time. It was almost like, God, Catholic guilt here, guys, just doing it. Anyway, so point being, even though I'm going to say that like 6,000 times and probably never ever truly get to the point, is that I was trying. You know, I was on life support. I was kind of showing up and being really sad, depressed, and mumbling and not really myself, but at the same time showing up and doing it badly, but doing it. And I cannot tell people enough times that showing up and doing it badly is so much better than waiting until you have the time to do it perfectly, because you'll never have the time to do it perfectly because it'll always be bad at first. And yes, if you've got the money to pay someone to make it better afterwards, fine, do that. You know, I'm all about that. You know, like you're like, I've got like 6 hours of video and I'm sure I can pay someone to get 20 decent minutes out of it. Do it. But most of us don't have that. They don't have the time to go through those 6 hours of video to edit, because if it's 6 hours of video, it's like 30-40 hours worth of work to get those 6 minutes of decent stuff, because you need to watch it, you need to edit it, you need to clip it in, you need to make sure it flows, you need to give it structure. It's not easy, and I think sometimes we're often given the impression that it is easy, especially people showing up, you know, first-time authors, first-time spiritpreneurs, people who are just wanting to do and share and give a piece of themselves. And then we look at people and we think to ourselves, oh, but they've got it, then look how good they're doing it. But again, you're comparing like their middle of the race to your start of the race. And an important thing for us who are just starting out is just to do these bad videos, to give ourselves permission to be bad. And this is where Cageology also helps in this, and I will then stop this and actually do some of the proper Cageology introductions. But for me, Cageology is about learning where those mental bars are in your head, the golden cage that keeps you safe. And let's face it, there's no such thing as truly safe. And we like to pretend we're safe. It's all about control, this belief that we can control our lives if we just play the game, if we just do things the way we're supposed to do it. If I show up and do everything according to whatever my society's rule book says, I will get things right, I'll get the gold star, and I've done it right and perfect. This often leads us to live lives that we don't even want to impress people we don't particularly like. And that goes for the stuff we buy, you know, often keeping us in debt so we can't do the things we truly want, and jobs we hate because the golden bars are so shiny and so beautiful on the outside that other people are telling us, why would we ever not want this? What are you talking about? You have everything. You're perfect or not perfect, but I wish you had it. So, you know, this whole gratitude to cap you instead of catapult you. And I fell into this too. I fell into this, well, at least I have. And I think that that's the completely wrong way to use gratitude. Gratitude is not about capping yourself and saying, well, at least I have this, therefore I should be happy and not complain anymore. Gratitude is actually about, oh, I love this. This is where my bliss is. Thank you so much for this. Yes, universe, more please. And that's from the Badassery ladies. And that's what I truly love about them, because they really did help me learn that I can say, yes, thank you, and I want more, and why not? And I think that the Cageology system helps you define what your more is, because I think this is also something that's really tricky, that we often think that more means, and I've done a couple of business courses too, and not just business courses, but like money block courses that are often very much also telling you never ever to barter your services, because that's not truly valuing who you are. And I would actually argue that that's not true, that you can totally value who you are and barter your services, because you're getting still in exchange. Now, I shouldn't be able to barter my service for, say, I don't know, I do a complete fairy journey for you, which is about $300, and instead you turn around and I get, I don't know, your book. like a $20 book. That's not a fair energy exchange. But say, I don't know, we do a mutual energy cleanse, or we do, I really need copy written and I can do your, I don't know, I'm really bad at a lot of stuff. So I don't know. But say as a photographer, I do your brand photography, you're the writer, you do my writing website. Together we come out with something equal in exchange. I think that's perfectly okay. And we have to stop listening to other people who say that's not okay. We need to check in with ourselves. We're constantly being taught since the time we were small children to always go outside ourselves, for validation. We look for mom and dad's approval first, then we look for our siblings' approval, we look for our friends' approval, and eventually we look for society's approval in general. And all that teaches us is that we are constantly chasing something that will never ever truly give us pure happiness, because it's always outside of us. It's always a chase. It's always a race. It's always like, even when I coach my writing clients, when I was still coaching, it was like, all I want to do is write a book. I just know when I write a book, I'm just going to be so happy. And then they write the book and they're like, why ain't I happy? Like, I'm a published author. This is my dream. Because you have grown while you're chasing this dream. And if you are not chasing this dream for yourself, and you're not looking inside, constantly doing the searching and constantly reaching for something else and growing and expanding your universe, you are going to be trapped inside a golden box. Or if you're really lucky, a golden slats, and then you can look outside and think what I'm missing, and just be constantly stuck here. And your freedom thieves and your jailers are going to happily keep you locked in there. Sometimes for love, sometimes people who keep us locked in our lives, like oftentimes, not all parents, but I'm lucky enough that my parents, if they ever try to cap me, it's not because they are jealous or fearful. They think that I'm about to do something that's not good for me. Like once I got my master's, they're like, okay, you got your master's, now you're going to settle down, right? And instead I just kept on traveling. I went straight to Germany, and now we're sailing around the boat, and kids, this terrifies them. Of course it does. Their child and their child's children are afloat on the ocean. Like, no, they don't want that. And they're Newfoundlanders. We sank the Titanic. We really don't want that. So the point being is that sometimes it comes from a place of love, where these people really just don't understand what you need, and what you want, and also the safety. I mean, being afloat on the Atlantic, even as scary as it is much safer than driving in a car. But no parent is ever going to get angry at me for driving in a car, because it's just so acceptable and so normal. Unless I've been drinking and driving, if you get into an accident in a car, it's just a tragedy. Whereas if you're doing something outside the box and you get into an accident, all of a sudden you are blamed a little bit. You shouldn't have been doing that. That's what happened. But that's not true. It's simply not true. I can get much more likely to get into an accident in a car than I am to get in an accident out in the open seas. So that being said, that we have to be careful then when these ideas are coming to us, and why are they coming to us, and who are giving us these ideas, and what the place is. It's coming from a place of love, but then you need to say thank you. I really appreciate that you love me and you're looking out for me and you want nothing but the best for me. But at the same time, I need to think for myself, and I need to live while I can, because I only get this one life, and staying safe is not actually helpful, because there's no such thing as truly staying safe. Then, of course, you get the other side where you're like, I'm just going to live my life the way it is, and if I get about my toss tomorrow, whatever. I still think, there's some planning involved here. You want to be looking into the future. You want to not assume you're going to die tomorrow, but kind of live with the general idea that if I died tomorrow, would I be happy with today? At the same time, if you really think about it, at times you think about these like explosions of light, of excitement, and spending all your money and going crazy and not caring and not saving, and who cares, because who knows what tomorrow will bring. That's really fun for a short time. It is. I know. But then it starts getting exhausting. It was like when I first started traveling. At first, I just had this giant list, and I wanted to see everything and do everything and wake up at like sunrise and just go until like 12:30, 1 o'clock at night, and fall into bed and get back up and do it again. And it is so exciting at first, but eventually it gets a little bit boring. It starts taking your energy away from you, and that's fine. The important thing is there is no right way or wrong way. You just need to pay attention to your energy, pay attention to what you want, what are triggering you, why you're thinking the way you're thinking. Is this your ideas or friends' ideas or society's ideas or TV's ideas? And then go with, is this right for me and now and when? And this is when I talk about the messy middle, which is also part of the Cageology of, there is no right, there is no perfection. It's life. People are going to throw curveballs at you. I finally get the day off in the morning and my kid's gone, and I've been interrupted like 10 times, and there's no children, and I'm still being interrupted by like a boat almost crashing into me, and Patrick calling because he's at the riggers and needs the bill, and then of course there's also my own of not being able to start because I felt awkward and weird, and then I was doing the whole resistance things for half an hour, 45 minutes, of watching JP Sears videos, which are fabulous and very inspiring, but this eventually I'm like, get on with it. So I'm not saying that there's, you know, I'm not very familiar with all these things, but we have to realize, okay, this is fine. This is part of my growth. I'm not going to beat myself up for this. I'm going to be compassionate towards myself and then start pushing myself then towards what I really want. And I think this is really important to realize what it is that you want, whereas other people I want. And this is what the Cageology system does. It helps you sit down and look, okay, I think there should be more to life than this. What is it that I want? And to start recreating your life from where you are. It's not an instant overnight pill taking thing where you're going to wake up tomorrow and be like, yay! But to actually, it's a lifelong process of constantly improving. And I always call it, like, you know, caterpillar to the cocoon, which is that gooey, messy middle amateur part, which is you're making these videos and you're really awkward and you're you're like, I don't want anyone to watch these, they're that bad, but that's okay, you need to make them anyway, so eventually you'll make videos good enough that people will want to watch. And then you burst out the butterfly, and then you're like, wow, I'm at the point where I thought I wanted to be, and you love it and you bask in it, and then all of a sudden you realize, but now I want something more. You know, it's not just enough that my videos are getting better, it's not just enough that I published a book, it's not just enough that I finally went on a trip. I want more, and that's okay. And then you start again, and all of a sudden you're back to being that caterpillar, and you're back to being into the messy middle cocoon, and then you're bursting out a butterfly again, and your whole life is these cycles. And of course things are going to happen to throw you around and knock you off the path and get back on, but this is where Cageology helps to realize where these things are happening and how to get back on the path that much faster. So the next video will be about Cageology and some of the themes and main products, so not products, but aspects of it, like your freedom thieves, your jailers, understanding exactly what the golden bars are, how you even came there, and yeah, all that fun stuff. Oh, and they'll come with worksheets too. Yay!